Hello everyone, Leilani Joy here, and welcome to my very first episode of Paint With Me, a new series I'm doing here in Art Nouveau where I will be painting in real time while answering your questions. And I'm super excited to get started, so let's go. So go grab your paint supplies, your sketchbook, or something creative to work on, and let's work along together and have some fun with this. So I'm going to go ahead and start up my camera that I have set up here, and you will be able to see, ta-da, you should be able to see my work area, and I'm going to go down in this little box and just kind of be over to the side. And I'm going to attempt to work and answer your questions as I go along. If you missed the chance to ask me something, you can send me a question in the comments on this video or on Instagram or Twitter. Why don't we use the hashtag AskLJ, and get your question in there, and I can try and answer it on another episode of Paint With Me. All right, so anyways, let's get started. So I'm going to be working on my Medusa today, and I'm going to be doing her in a bigger acrylic format, which I'm super excited about. I already have my background started, as you guys can see here. I've kind of done a little bit of an atmospheric black area, and I wanted to have these kind of eroded Greek pillars. So I kind of have that set up already, and you guys will see that in the final full episode of Art Nouveau, and I'll show you guys that. But to start, I'm going to first use my white Cerol transfer paper here, and I'm going to, is this white? Yeah, this is white. And I'm going to transfer it, and that's not super interesting to watch. So I will go ahead and transfer her to the board, and then we will start with some paints. Okay, so my transfer is finished. And I'm going to show you guys really quickly here. I've started kind of doing this slightly different than I used to do it. And I first taped my drawing down really well on the top of my board here. And lately I have been using the white Cerol, especially on a light background, and blocking in where the character is going to be and where the face is going to be. And then I'm going to be doing a flat layer of the skin tone, and then I will do another transfer with my graphite Cerol to put the face details on. This is probably kind of an anal retentive way to do it, but I have found that it works the best because I have transferred the face before, and then I will try to paint around the features and get the skin to look smooth, and it's really a pain in the butt. So I am not going to be doing that anymore. I'm doing it this way, and I found that it works a lot better for me. The only trick is you want to make sure that your painting does not move, or that your drawing does not move. Otherwise, it's not going to line up, and then you're screwed, and basically you're going to have to draw the whole painting freehand. So if you want to try it, I would recommend that. Okay, so anyways, here is the painting, and it's pretty cool. You can already kind of see how it's starting to shape up, which is fun. And next, my next stage is I'm going to actually mix some colors for her skin tone. And today I will be painting with a new paintbrush set that I just got, courtesy of the Artisan Shop. This is their Maestro Series 15 brush set. I'll review this a little bit more on my main episode of Art Nouveau, but I just want to say that I'm excited to try these out, and I'm going to be using these as I paint today. All right, so I have some little cups here. I've mentioned to you guys before that I really like to use these cups when I mix my paint colors, because that way they don't dry on your palette, and then you can never make them again. And if you have to patch something or fix an area, you're pretty much out of luck. These already have like a little bit of dried paint in them, just because I'm kind of lazy, and I figure if I'm going to be making a green color that's similar, then I'll just use it instead of washing it. I mean, we're in a drought anyway, shouldn't be using water. So while I mix my colors, I will go ahead and start answering some of your questions. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'm gonna just go ahead and start mixing right here on my little palette so you can see. And for her skin tone, I wanna make this kind of like nice pale minty color. So that will be fun to experiment with. All right, so let's start with the questions. And I'm starting with my questions from Instagram. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about them and answer them while I mix up some paint colors. All right, first question is from Emmanuel, and he asks, what's your Hogwarts house? Okay, so you guys are gonna get really mad probably in the next minute here. I am not into Harry Potter. I know, it's like shocking, but I don't know. A friend of mine got me the books when I was in high school, and he was really into them, and I got about like halfway through the first book, and I can't really tell you, I just didn't really get into it. And I've seen one of the movies, and I don't really remember much about it. I saw the first one in the theater, but I was on a date with a weird guy, and I kind of like wasn't paying attention. Anyways, that's another story. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know anything about Harry Potter. Potter. I don't know anything about Harry Potter. Sorry. So next question from Arter Copter. Do you prefer drawing fan art, original art, or inspired by art more? Well, I feel like, that's interesting. I like them all in a way. I like them all. That's probably the quickest answer to that. Just so you guys know, I have not really pre-screened these questions very much because I wanted it to kind of just be natural and conversational. And so yeah, just throwing that out there. I think that there is a good a happy medium of all of those is good. I definitely find that doing inspired art and fan art seems to appeal to more people, which you guys probably know this because the common art, the common person, the average person really likes things that they can relate to, I find. And a lot of times that means something that they already recognize. So I find that fan art and art that's like inspired by an existing subject is really often more popular than completely original art. Not always true, but I do find that that is often the case. Usually my best-selling artwork is artwork that's inspired by something else. But like I've told you guys before, be very wary of getting too much into fan art because copyright is real, guys. I'm not messing around. It is real. Nowadays, fan art is super. Ooh, that's kind of a nice color. Fan art is super trendy, and even really big artists I feel are doing a lot of fan art. So I mean, I don't know. I would say just use sparingly, use with caution. Definitely don't rely on it. I find that fan art can be a crutch and a gimmick, and especially if you're doing Disney or something like that, I would not, or pure anime, I'd be very wary of doing only that because then if you really want to get a freelance job of some kind, they'll be like, well, we can't base your portfolio off of fan art. We need to see what you do when you get an original assignment. So, I don't know. That's probably a little bit more long-winded of an answer. But no, I like them all. I like to invent my own characters. I like to put a new spin on existing characters. And I like to do fan art. I'm planning to do some Sailor Moon inspired pieces. I was trying to really avoid copyrighted characters, just, for my own protection and things like that. But I see a ton of artists. Everyone is doing it. They're having fan art shows, and so I'm just kind of well, whatever. Everyone else is doing it. Must be okay, right? Yeah, but I digress about that. Sorry, this answer is super long. Anyways, I'm kind of getting close to a color that I like. It's maybe still a little bit saturated. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at my comp here again. Yeah, maybe just a little bit more white and maybe just a tiny bit more of the sort of sickly green, and I think I will have it. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, that's that one. Next question. Do you ever use marks in your art? Markers? This is from Jock Esed. No. I don't use markers. The reason why I don't use markers is, except for like maybe Prismacolors, I don't think their archival or lasting power is very good. I think, you know, if you put like a marker drawing in the sun, it's gonna just fade and be nothing. So obviously, if I'm gonna put this many hours into my artwork, I don't really want to have something that doesn't last. So I don't know. Never really been into markers. I like colored pencils a lot because I feel like you can blend them, and some people do some incredible things with markers. But yeah, I don't. So sorry about it. Next we have Patty Tricia, and she asks, what sort of teaching style did you find the most useful in art school? How would you want to teach your students in the online classes you are creating? Oh, that's a good one. Well, I guess that's kind of a hard question. A good question. I found that most of my teachers at the Academy of Art, I mean, they had a very systematic way of teaching it. The teacher would sort of do a demo, and then they would put put the model in front of you and tell you to emulate those techniques. And I'd basically be sitting there being like, I have no idea how you just did that, and I will never be as good as the teacher. And then I would sit there for the rest of the class self-loathing and wondering why the heck I was there. No, but really, I found that it was most helpful when teachers really broke it down to the basics. I am a very analytical type artist. I think I've mentioned this before. So I really like steps. I really like simplified versions of things, not just like, just do what I do, because that doesn't help. I'm sorry. I just don't think like watching someone really helps very much, because that person is already an expert and they already know how to do it. So it doesn't do us very much good to just watch somebody. So in my class, I'm glad you asked about that, which is coming along. I am kind of taking a different approach. I'm giving you guys more like tools and steps to break this stuff down, because watch and learn doesn't do it for me. No, it doesn't. So I had a lot of trouble in art school, and I had teachers say, well, you know, just watch what I do. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm more of a trial and error person. I would rather have like some scientific like formulas for it, if that makes sense. So anyways, that's kind of my approach. That's a little bit not as concise of an answer as I wanted to give, but hopefully that makes sense to you. I am really breaking it down, and basically my classes, I want to be the class that I wish I had. So I hope that sounds good to you. It's not going to be like all the classes that I had in art school. It's going to be a completely different kind of way of looking at it, which I think I would have benefited from. So yeah, anyways, I'm really excited about that. Okay, so I think that I'm getting pretty much the color that I like here, so I'm excited about that. You can see how long it takes me actually to get to a color that I like. And keep in mind, you know, I like to paint with a flat skin tone first, and then I will do darker and lighter in certain areas. So this is kind of like the mid-tone, if you will. Okay, so let's start putting some of this paint on here, and we will get to some more questions. Okay, so I'm starting out with some of my new The Artist Shop brushes. I've got this nice little filbert, and be sure, I've mentioned to you guys before to wash rinse out your brand new brushes because they usually have this little like gluey film stuff on them, so the bristles so the bristles don't get messed up. So make sure you rinse that out really good before you paint with them. And I'm also going to be using a little number 4 filbert. I like filberts. I'm a filbert fan. I don't know why. I like the angled brushes and the filberts a lot when I paint. I could make a joke about Rocco's Modern Life right now. You clean your brush, you wash your hands. You clean your brush, you wash your hands. All right. Are you guys too young for that? I don't know how old you are, okay? Sorry, some of my jokes are old. Okay, so these are nice and rinsed. So come back over here with me and we'll start putting this skin tone on. Okay, here we go. So next I have a question from Wolf of Full Moon. Wolf of Full Moon, are you a fan of Wolf Among Us? You should be because it's a really awesome game. Okay. Wolf of Full Moon asks, what is your least and most, if you want, liked question people ask? Like, I know people really hate when random people ask, can you draw me? Did you draw this or copy it? I know I do. Oh, goodness. Jeez. For real, I have a lot of these. As you guys can probably imagine, since I do YouTube and I go out to a lot of conventions and stuff, that I do have like a lot of questions that I hate. Probably, let's see. One of the ones that I really hate, which like it's sometimes a compliment and sometimes an insult. So I'm never really sure what they mean, but some people say, are all these paintings of you? Are these all just paintings of yourself? Or sometimes they're like, oh, you really look like your paintings. Like, that's a compliment. But I feel like some people put it in a very, like, condescending way. No, they're not all of me, okay? Like, for real. I mean, do I have snakes coming out of my head? Or, like, 6 arms? Or blue hair? Well, I did have blue hair. But yeah, I don't know why. I guess I do. They say the artist comes through in their own work, which I totally get. But I really don't know what's up with like the super condescending. Like, yes, I'm so arrogant. I just paint myself all day, okay? No, I don't. I like a certain style that is influenced by anime and like different things. So I guess that's why. I don't know. I don't really have the exact answer, but I do find it to be an irritating question. I also have had people, it's kind of an annoying question, is what is this? Or like, is this anime? Is this whatever? I get that question a lot too. And I honestly don't feel like I'm not attempting to put my art in any one category. So I do find that question a little bit annoying when people like want to put me in a box and like categorize it, I guess. So I guess, I would say that question gets a little bit annoying. This isn't really a question, but I have definitely heard people say it like at conventions and stuff. Like they think I won't be able to hear for some reason, and they'll walk by and they'll be like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do it. I could do that. Or somebody nudges their friend, like, oh, that looks exactly like what you do. You could do that. You could do that. I'm like, well, I don't see you doing it, okay? It is very hard work what I do. And putting yourself out there and running your own business and trying to be an artist at the same time. Like, for real. Like, don't just assume that it's so easy. And if you think you can, then go ahead and put your money where your mouth is. But don't be, like, shady about it and be like, oh, that's so easy. It's not. Trust me, it's not. If it was, like, honestly, more people would do it. Everyone would do it. Another question that super bothers me is, why is it so expensive? Or why does your art cost that much? Like, first of all, like, that's just kind of rude. If you don't like what it costs, like, sorry, that's what it costs. I think people just assume that artists are always just having fun, so it should be very cheap to use their services. However, art, especially for me, is very time consuming. Not to mention, most of us have either practiced for many, many years or been formally educated to get the skills that we have. So, and basically I consider us specialists in a field. So asking someone to do a service for you costs a certain amount. And I plan on doing I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It's actually kind of like a whole video on what I feel is professional artist etiquette and how to talk to a professional artist and ask them things, because I feel like some people, they don't mean to be like rude, but a lot of times it is. I've had people say to me, well, can't you use a cheaper canvas or can't you use less paint? Yeah, I get that more often than you think. Guys, it's not about how much paint it takes. It's not about the price of the canvas. It's about the time, the planning, the sketching it takes to actually create a piece of artwork. Yeah, it's many days of work, and you probably expect to get paid at least minimum wage and a fair hourly rate. And artists do too. So yeah, that's really all the explanation that you need is, and trust me, I'm not making that much over minimum wage most of the time. So just telling you, I think my prices are actually quite fair in comparison to what it would cost to pay an accountant or pay your dentist for their time. But I digress about that one. That one just always kind of gets me. Questions I do like, though, I like questions like when people say, do you have influences from so-and-so artist, or do you have influences from anime? It's kind of cool when people can recognize who I'm inspired by. I find that to be a compliment. Unless, which I also get, is people who say, oh, that looks just like so-and-so. And I'm like, does it really? Because I feel like I'm really trying not to be just like any other artist. I really try to you're going to be influenced no matter what, but I do try to create original artwork that's not copied from anyone. So yeah, it's kind of rude to tell an artist that their art looks just like someone else. I mean, unless they're directly copying them. But yeah, again, that question got a little bit more wordy than I intended. Yeah, so hopefully that got, you said, can you draw me? Can you draw this? Yeah, gets kind of annoying to me too. Like, you guys, I take commissions, so like, be like, can you draw this? Can you draw that? It's like, I can't just take requests. If you want to pay me to do something, like, go ahead, like, send me email, but like, I can't just like paint what you feel like I should paint. I already have like a long to-do list in my own head of stuff that I want to paint for myself, so I rarely get to do my own requests, so I probably can't do your request unless you want to pay me to do it. So there you have it. Okay. Gold Does Not Glitter, oh, that's a pretty name, asks, do you think you subconsciously represent yourself in the characters you draw, both physically and personality-wise? That's kind of funny, because we just talked about that, right? So yeah, like I said, a lot of people say, you're just painting yourself into every piece you do. And I mean, the answer is, yeah, I mean, kind of. It's comes out of my head. It's what I like, and people tend to paint what they know or what they're inspired by. So I definitely think my personal tastes come through. I mean, obviously, it's my artwork. And yeah, sometimes I take a reference photo of myself. So yeah, I probably do look kind of like the paintings sometimes. So yes, the answer is yes, gold does not glitter. I do feel that my personality, my tastes, and sometimes my physical self definitely is in my artwork. So there you go. Hopefully I answered that for all the people that think I just vainly paint myself all the time. I do. Oh, I love myself. Okay, let's see. Mandolin Art asks, how did you know you wanted to be a freelance artist, or did you know? And where does a person start if they want to successfully do so? Okay, well, that is a huge question. So I don't think that I can answer this as in depth as I would like to. First of all, I will plug my upcoming classes, Art Nouveau U. You can keep posted on when those are coming out. Because I'm going to teach a whole class on how to become a professional artist / freelancer and everything that you need to know and need to do. So stay tuned for that. But first I'm going to have my sort of art school fast track class come out first. But to answer your question, how did you know you want to be a freelance artist? I did not know. I actually had no flipping idea what I was going to do right out of art school. So I don't know if that really helps you guys. I was quite confused. I didn't really have anybody who guided me as far as where I would fit in with my art. So I just kind of kept doing art while working multiple jobs. I wasn't really sure how it was all going to fit together. So no, I didn't really know. I've mentioned this before. When I went to art school, I thought I wanted to be a 3D animator, which I learned very quickly I hated everything about. And then I switched to being an illustration major and liked that a lot better. But in those days, I don't know how it is over there now, they had no class really for teaching you like how to have a career. So I don't know if they do now. I've heard from a lot of you guys that your art programs still are not teaching this, which bad for them, but good for me because I plan on teaching it to you guys and I plan on telling you everything I know. I'm not a super duper expert. Obviously, I'm not like a seasoned veteran, but I have figured out some things and I do make my living doing art. And I am happy to share everything I know with you. So stay tuned for that class because that's going to come up soon. Okay, Kenjay the stupid... Oh, I'm sorry. The super kid. My bad. I didn't mean to call you stupid. Kenjay the super kid. I feel bad about that. I'm sorry. Kenjay. I meant super kid. What kind of video games do you like to play? Oh, God. That is opening up a can of worms, let me tell you. So I don't even know if I can answer that because I like so many. But the short version is I grew up on Nintendo. I had my very first NES in a year that I won't tell you, but basically a few years after it came out. I loved that. I got a Super Nintendo. My dad was very embracing to his daughters who liked video games, so he would always hook us up with those. And my mom would be like, "Don't you already have a Nintendo? Why do you need a new one?" And we're like, "Mom, you don't get it, so just stay out of it." So then we had the Super Nintendo, then the Sega, then a 64. Then I had a Sega Saturn, briefly, just for one game, for Nights into Dreams, which I'm still obsessed with to this day. Then we had a PlayStation 2. We never had the PlayStation, but my dad hooked us up with the PlayStation 2. And now I have a Wii and Xbox. So I basically covered all the bases. My sister and I share joint custody of our Super Nintendo and 64. So we still play the old school ones a lot. We were big Mario fans. Kirby, Zelda. Obviously, I could talk all day about Zelda, if you guys want. We liked Sonic the Hedgehog. But now I'm into a lot of, I like these story games. I like BioWare games a lot. I could do a full, probably 2-hour talk about Mass Effect. Maybe I'll do that on another video. I'm super, super obsessed with Mass Effect. I love it. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played, except for the ending on the third one. But again, that is a whole nother discussion. I cried at that game. I love it. I have Dragon Age, but Inquisition. But as of yet, I have not had time to play, which super sucks. I guess it's good to be busy, but I haven't really had time to get into it yet. I like Skyrim. I played quite a bit of that. I didn't finish it, though. I can't, nowadays, it sucks because my time is, stretched super thin as it is. so I don't really get to play games as much as I want. So, with that said, that is why I really like Telltale games. If you guys haven't played them, they have a Walking Dead series that's incredible. They have The Wolf Among Us, I think, is actually my favorite series by them. I just think it's perfect in every single way, and I hope they are making more of it because I love it so much. And Adam Harrington, the voice of Bigby, follows me on Twitter, and I fangirl all the time. I think he lives in Oakland, which is like nearby where I live, so maybe I'll have a beer with Bigby one of these days. My boyfriend, he can come too. Yeah, I love those. Their Borderlands series is freaking awesome. That one's like really funny. Yeah, so check those out. I recently started playing Life is Strange, which is similar to the Telltale games, which I really like too. I need to get caught up on it, but it's super, super awesome. So yeah, that was probably like a way bigger answer, but you shouldn't have asked me about video games because like I live for video games, okay? When I'm not painting, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we're starting to get this character blocked in. As you can see, I usually do work maybe like a little bit faster than this when I'm not talking, but this is fun. Like I feel like we're hanging out, you know, it's cool. So you can see that my painting is starting to get a little bit more opaque, which is nice. So that's what we want. So we're just gonna kind of keep layering until I get this close to where I want it. And like I said, you don't have to like hurry yourself or worry too much because you've mixed, hopefully, plenty of your paint color. So you can, you know, touch up areas as you go. I also like this because it helps with blending, because you'll be able to blend in some areas. So before I take the next question, I just want to talk to you guys about something really quick. So a lot of people have asked why why artists tend to put redness in the fingers, the nose, the ears, the elbows, and some artists like really, really exaggerate this. But the answer is because that is where you have the most blood flow naturally. I mean, it's much more subtle in seeing humans in real life interacting, but in painting they teach you where you have more blood flow is where you have more redness. So that is why artists do that. But for fun, in this painting, I am going to make the assumption that Medusa has green blood. So I am going to put some green saturation in her fingers and probably her nose, ears, any other like warm areas. So instead of them being warm, they're going to have green because she has more blood flow in those areas. So I'm just explaining why I'm doing that as we progress. And yeah, that's just something to keep in mind when you're painting your skin tones, that it'll be, no matter what skin tone you are, it will be warmer in those areas. Let's see. So Max Level 27 asks, when did you decide that art was definitely the career choice you wanted to take? I think I already answered this, actually. Like I said, I didn't really have a plan. I was like a kid that was always drawing, so I did know that I was pretty sure that I wanted to go into a creative field my whole life. So I don't really know if there was a quote when I decided. I was sort of always into it. So yeah, I guess that's just kind of that answers that. I'm gonna try and answer these a little quicker so we can get to more of them. I know I tend to elaborate too much. Teresa Artsy asks, can you talk about the business side of being an artist, like having a business license? Do you have or need one? And if you do, when do you think other artists should get one? How do you take care of your taxes? Oh my God. I love learning about the business aspect of art and would love to hear. Take my class. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to talk about all that stuff in my business of art class. So that is like a giant, giant question, and literally we need a whole class on it. Actually, I was thinking I may do a class just on how to do your taxes. I've kind of learned to become like a Schedule C expert, artist tax person, but that in itself is a huge subject. Luckily, my parents are very, very smart financial people and have helped me learn. So I feel like that would be even its own separate subject. It's so, ugh. So yeah, maybe once, see how these classes go. I would love to try and help you guys with that if I can. Teach you like how to write stuff off and all that. So, but yeah, I can't answer that right now because it's a huge, huge question. So yes, please stay tuned for my business of art class. I will talk about all that stuff. That's why I'm teaching it. Jacob Mason says, what material do you use to paint your paintings on? I've already answered this like 100 times. I paint on gessoed masonite panels. I have a whole video where I talk about my supplies, so you can find that. Mandolin, are you different than mandolin art? Or is that just coincidence? Okay, I've always wanted to hear more about your art school days. I know you say such bad things about how you didn't like it. No, I don't. And how you didn't like it and they didn't like you, but I would really like to hear more about why that was and if you think art school is a good thing in some instances. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to like give that impression. I did not hate art school. I am grateful for art school. I think art school was a necessity for me. So yeah, I don't want to confuse you guys. I just kind of meant like I didn't really fit the art school mold, if you will. I feel like a lot of people had a much easier time than I did. I felt like I had a hard time. I don't mean that they didn't like me. Like, I just felt like some of my teachers didn't really know how to help me. I was very shy. I never ever wanted to seem like I didn't understand something, or I never wanted to seem like I was a failure. I went, like I've said this before, when I was in high school, I was like a straight A student. So when I went to art school and I started seeing C's on my report card, I was very distressed. I didn't really know why, if I wasn't trying hard enough. I was just, learning art is totally different than learning anything else. And I had a little bit of a hard time catching up to some people that were already ahead. Anyways, so to answer your question, I think art school is, for me, invaluable. I don't think I would be where I am without it. I don't think I could have self-taught myself. I feel like I've come a long way even since graduating. But I do think I learned the core stuff that was necessary for me. So for me, it was definitely the right choice. Again, I'm going to talk more about this in my class that I'm doing, because my class is basically going to be about this, and I'm going to be taking what I felt were the most important things I learned at art school and teaching them to you guys in a way that I felt I would have liked it taught to me, if that makes sense. So I plan on sharing the best of what I took from art school. That's my goal. It's expensive. I don't think it is the best way for everyone to learn. But I had some incredible teachers. I've talked about it before. I had the honor of working with Kazu Sano, who is, you should just look him up. He is a master. He did one of the original, like, Return of the Jedi posters. He did art for National Geographic. He was amazing to study with, and I'm so blessed that I got to study with him, because sadly he passed away a couple years after I had his class. So yeah, I think that is the best way to learn, if you can fully immerse yourself and learn from the people that really do know. I mean, so I didn't mean to give the wrong impression. I'm thankful that I got the opportunity to go to art school, and I have some teachers that I keep in touch with to this day who still guide me, who answer questions for me. So no, I really recommend it if you can. If you can't, there are alternatives like my class coming up. Just plug that one more time. So yeah, hopefully that answers it a little bit more. Okay, DVD Space has a huge question for me, so let me see if I can help you out. Lately, I feel like I haven't grasped my own art style, and it bothers me. I'm going to be a junior soon, and I want to apply for Cal Arts, which I hear is so hard to get admitted to. Yeah, I think it is, actually. I don't know. I didn't apply there. I've been taking art seriously for 6 or 7 years, but over the course of that time, I feel like I've gone absolutely nowhere, and I fear that if I don't improve sooner or later, I'll never reach my goals and dreams. Wow. So I have 2 questions for you. 1, are you more confident in your art now than before? And 2, did you have any advice to bear for someone struggling like me? First of all, relax a little bit. You are not expected to have a perfect professional portfolio going to art school. In fact, I think they probably would like to see your realism skills more than anything else. I don't know. I would ask or see if you can find people who have gone to Cal Arts and see what an example of what they submitted. I don't know what their process is, so I can't really tell you. But I would definitely say take the pressure off a little bit. Like, seriously, I still feel like that. I still feel like, what the heck am I doing? I am more confident now. I get more confident with every piece I do. But even on occasion, I go, oh, God, this sucks. I suck. I hate it. I hate myself. I hate my life. So I think that's sort of the artist's plight. We all have that imposter syndrome, right? That we feel like someone's going to call us out and tell us that we're horrible. But it's not true. It's not true. And honestly, you're probably fretting about it way more than anybody else. But, maybe don't put all your eggs in one basket either. I mean, apply to several different schools. There's Art Center, which is amazing. I know some incredible artists have come from there. I do recommend the Academy of Art. They don't have that strict of they don't really have a portfolio requirement to get admitted. They have a portfolio grant program, which is what I entered, and I got 75% of my first semester paid for, and my portfolio was crap. It was so bad. It was really shitty. Sorry. So I'm sure what you have is probably better than that, so you probably get 100% of yours paid for. So yeah, honestly, if that just stresses you out too much, then maybe just try a couple of different things. And about your style, I'm gonna, again, I keep saying this, but this is something I get asked often, so I am going to teach an entire step-by-step process in my class to help you help you narrow down your style, give you a direction to go in. But again, it just comes with time, so there's really nothing you can do to force it except by trying to copy someone else's style, which is not what you want to do. Your personal style sort of develops naturally. I wish I could tell my 20-year-old self this, because I was just like you. I was freaking out about it. I'm like, I don't know what my point of view is. I don't know what I want to show to the world. I don't know how to get a job because I don't even know what I want to do for the job. So honestly, like I said, I just kept doing my own art, and then eventually I didn't like this about the last piece, but I like this, and I'm going to try and incorporate that in the next one. So it is, again, like a lot of trial and error. You cannot really force it. It's going to happen, though. I can guarantee you that. It just happens because every time you do something, you learn something, right? So, I mean, there's even artists I look up to who I can see them evolving and their art style changing. So it's not like this tattoo you got to put on your forehead and say, I draw like this forever. So I would say just loosen up on that. Maybe you would like my class. Maybe it would make you feel better. Just kind of focus on creating strong design work and, getting some of the foundations in there. And don't worry so much about the style of your art. So hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better, hopefully. Next I have Casey Powell. Casey says, how are you so good at painting? It's so unique. Casey, this is my favorite question so far. No. Well, again, I feel like I kind of answered this. I honestly, that's super flattering that you say that, because, like I said, I'm constantly, doubting myself and being like, I don't know, does this suck? I had someone once say something so horrible, and they're like, I could do all of, well, they said on YouTube, of course. This is why I don't read my YouTube comments very often. But she's like, I could do all of your paintings in 5 minutes. They all look like a 5-year-old did them, and I could do them. And I'm just like, oh, really? Well, let's see. But yes, this makes me self-doubt sometimes. I'm like, wait, do I suck horribly? I don't know. But I really appreciate you saying that. And as I just mentioned, it's taken me a long time to get this far. And I hope to always be improving and learning new things along the way. So, yeah, I just hope to constantly improve my craft and stay true to myself. That's what I try to do, and come up with new and inventive ways to express myself. So, yeah, thank you for that, Casey. Okay, guys, well, that's all the time I have for today to answer questions. And you can see here, this is about the stage I have in the first half an hour of painting. It still has a very long way to go. So hopefully I can do maybe a part 2, paint with me, and I can answer some more of your questions for you. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you'll paint with me again on another episode. And be sure to ask me your questions on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and hopefully I can answer those for you next time. See you guys, keep creating.